bringing it to them all day. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Win or lose, we bringing it to you always. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Orange or black, we rebuild the pack. No matter where we at, you know we coming back. Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah, welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, Next Generation Baltimore Sports Talk. I am your endearingly studying host, Matt Soroka. As always, I'm joined by the button lover, Josh Soroka. Hey, Josh.
Hey, how about that perfect weekend? I mean, at least for the Orioles, 3-0.
Yeah.
Got those power rankings out. I mean, we're in good shape. And Fangraphs even increased our playoff odds. Everything's looking up for the Orioles. Where's that state of the Orioles? Let's just start it right now. The state is up.
Yeah, the state is definitely up. People are going to listen to tomorrow probably, so I might be a fool for saying this. But 1-6-2-0 is still on the table as of this recording.
That is the case. Yeah,
we would be the first team to ever do that.
Or if you're joining us live, it's the fifth inning, and the Orioles are down by 1. So, I think.
But you could not ask. The opening. A part of me wants to just go game by game, inning by inning, talk about what we've seen over the opening series against the Red Sox, because you literally could not draw out a better opening to the season for the Orioles.
One negative thing the entire weekend,
right?
Which
and
is
we'll
talk
about
Hayes,
that,
and we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But so many things good to talk about.
Yeah.
Some things I expected, like this opening 3-0. Josh, it shocked a lot of Orioles fans. It didn't shock me and you, because we said from Jump Street that Boston's going to be worse than us, and we said some Jump Street that people are overestimating how bad this team is.
And we said this lineup from the start. We've said this lineup can put up runs.
Yeah, though, today's lineup, it's amazing. You take out Santander and Austin Hayes. That's it, right? And Ruiz.
Right.
You take out Ruiz, Santander, and Hayes. All of a sudden, our lineup doesn't look so hot anymore.
No. I saw that lineup, and I'm like, oh, this is the Sunday lineup. This is the day off lineup.
Yeah. So hopefully our lineup will get back to normal. But that lineup for the first 3 games against Boston was an impressive lineup. But the story is that's not the story. The story is the pitching. Absolutely.
The story is the pitching that Mullins went. All right, I think I'm live. Let's see. Are you there, Matt?
Yeah.
All right.
All I kept on hearing on repeat is Mullins went with.
Mullins went with.
I must have heard 500 times in the last 5 seconds. So I refreshed, and then I came back in. I still heard it, and then I X'd out the whole tab, and then came back in. No.
All right. Well, I don't know what went out or what
Mullins
recorded.
Went with something.
It's going to have to be edited. No, I was asking about Means. How many innings did Means go the first game?
I want to say
7?
6.
6?
It could have been 7.
And then the Dark Knight went 4 2/3. And then,
actually, I think you're right, because 7s. It was in opening night. It was just Scott and Valdez were the only other 2 pitchers opening night.
So he went 7.
Yeah, I think 7, and then
Matt Harvey went 4 2/3. Bruce Zimmerman went 6, and Lopez went 4 2/3 today on Monday night. So that's not too bad for our starting pitching. That was supposed to be crap.
Oh my gosh, the starting pitching is the story of the season so far. Over that opening weekend, opening series, over 3 games, and say what we will, but Boston doesn't have starting pitching. They have some starting pitching issues and depth issues, but they have a good lineup still with Martinez and Devers.
And we shut that lineup down.
Yeah, in those 3 games, they scored a total of 5 runs. And so it's just super impressive. A good job from our bullpen, but the starters, to me, that Harvey pitch, that's the game. John Means, I have confidence in John Means. He pitched better than anyone thought, but I thought he would pitch well. Game 2, where you have Matt Harvey starting. You already used your 2 best bullpen arms.
Right.
So you're thinking, okay, game 2, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. There's going to be higher scoring probably. But we're able to win with only scoring 4 runs, and that's because Harvey pitched pretty well. But then this guy, Plutko, came in there and got the win.
The guy who we didn't even get to see at spring.
Yeah, he
We
pitched
signed him like 6 days ago.
2 and a third inning, only gave up 1 hit and gave up nothing else. Just the hit, and then take out the hold. And we have found out who our closer is, and Cesar Valdez. He's been pitching okay, and so it's just it's been all around for me. The takeaway is pitching in general, but specifically our starting pitching is super impressive. I mean, the reason we have LeBlanc and the reason we were able to keep two Rule 5 guys out, in addition to Plucko, who Plucko and LeBlanc are starters, is because we expected to need a lot of long men to cover up our bad starting pitching. But our starting pitching has not been bad.
It's not been horrible.
So
it hasn't fallen apart. Even those guys like Matt Harvey and what's his name on Monday Night, Lopez, that only went 4 2/3. The game wasn't out of control when they left.
Well, I thought Matt Harvey pitched great, and the reason, again, like it's 4 2/3. It's the first game of the season, right? He's still building up his arm.
We didn't see him pitch more than 3.
Yeah, and so that's why. Like if he had that stuff, a month from now, he's going 5 or 6 innings. Right. And so I thought Matt Harvey was super impressive. Especially remember, like Matt Harvey's coming off obscurity. He's coming off being unable to stay on a major league roster. Right? He's coming off this kind of great epic fall. And so to come back in his first start with the Orioles, to only give up 2 runs and get 4 strikeouts over 4 2/3 innings, and to have like a mid-90s fastball and good movement on his pitches, just super impressed with Matt Harvey. I got to give love because some people were giving me slack about saying Bruce Zimmerman is the worst starter on this team last episode. And Bruce Zimmerman, he pitched really well, and definitely holding his own as well against Boston. So
he did.
Like that's for me, that's the takeaway, right? Our starting pitching against the Boston Red Sox, and even today, like Jorge Lopez. Last I checked, he only gave it 1 run. Did he go out leaving with giving up just 1 run, or did you give him more?
Well, that's the magic of we're recording right now. So they brought Charm Armstrong in with 2 outs and the bases loaded. And Sean Armstrong just walked the guy. So he gave up. So now it's 2-0 Yankees. So that run is going to go on Lopez, unfortunately. Right.
And that's a tough spot for Sean Armstrong. You're coming right back from paternity leave to get right back into that in a key spot there. And that's honestly, like, that's what I was worried about game 2. Like, especially without Hunter Harvey, you realize, like, once the season starts, how badly you miss Hunter Harvey because we don't have that back end bullpen depth, right? We have Tanner Scott, we have Valdez. Outside of that, and if you like Tate, okay, we have Tate, but we're really thin there.
Yeah, and I mean, Valdez was a surprise that he is now our closer. I mean, after all the talk of
what him possibly starting, there was talk that he possibly would start because he started in some kind of off-season league or whatever. But he's all. Oh, I thought you just were distracted, but now you're frozen for me.
Hey, you there?
Yeah.
All right, my computer completely shut down. Like, I don't know what's going on, but this episode seems to be cursed right now.
The Orioles are playing too well, and the computer does not even know how to handle the Orioles playing this well.
No, Sean Armstrong gave up a grand slam.
Oh, that's more like it.
And that killed the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me bring back what's his name that we sent down.
Saucer.
Saucer, yeah. Give me back Cole Saucer. So, all right. I don't know if we're still live. I assume we're still live. We're still recording. I'll edit this all together for the podcast, so it'll be all right. Let's see if we can get through this show.
I don't know. What were we even talking about? You were talking about the last thing I heard, and then I thought you just like lost your train of thought or watching the game or something. So then I started to talk for you, but really you were frozen. It took me a while to realize you were frozen. I just thought you weren't paying attention. But no, you were talking about Cesar Valdez. It's surprising that he is our closer because I think how he was hyped up about the possibility of being a starter or a swingman or whatever.
And manager Hyde kept talking all season how he doesn't like really believe in the closer and just goes with the hot hand, the right guy at the time. So to see him go to Valdez twice in a row in save situations, I mean, I guess that's his closer.
Yeah, and we'll see how it goes. Like if we get to the last inning and it lines up that there's two lefties, are you more likely to see Tanner Scott in that situation as opposed to Valdez? But clearly, like, I love it, right? Because normally when we think of closer, we think of someone going in there throwing high 90s, hitting 100, throwing heat. And Valdez is the opposite. And so he's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, no, he's very fun to watch. I wonder how much of that is the fact that we don't have Hunter Harvey in that position. If you would see more of a Valdez in the 8th and Hunter Harvey in the 9th, and when Hunter Harvey's back, who knows?
Yeah, I think that's very possible. I think, because I don't think he trusts Tanner Scott. I think, like, if we were to rank how much trust Hyde has in his bullpen, I think Valdez is number 1. I would say Scott's number 2, and Tate's number 3. Maybe Salser's in there fighting for Tate for number 3 or 4 or something.
And apparently Armstrong, because they brought back Armstrong. So apparently he has faith in Armstrong.
Yeah, and Armstrong's coming off a really good year last year. And so, and Fry, I know had a bad spring training, but Fry has a track record of being pretty decent.
It's interesting to see that Fry and LeBlanc and Scroller are the only guys that he hasn't used out of the pen yet.
Yeah. And it was nice that Wells could get into that blowout.
Oh, it was the perfect time for a guy like Wells.
Yeah, so I think, and tonight might be the reverse, where it might be Scroller might get a chance or blow out the other way, the way tonight's headed.
Good point. Yeah, it's 6-0 right now, so that could definitely be bring Scroller in.
Yeah, there's a lot of highlights I want to get to in the first 3 games, but looking at this Yankee series, Josh, to me, I'm not even like, I mean, there's this phrase like just win series. Like that's not even my mentality when planning. Like if we can take one game against the Yankees. Like that's what I'm shooting for. Like let's take care of business and let's compete. Like let's beat up on the Red Sox. Let's compete with the Rays. Let's compete with the Blue Jays, and let's try to win one against the Yankees. It's kind of my attitude.
Remember the Yankees? I mean, what is it? Fangraphs had them at like 92% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, they have a great team.
They got a great team. It's not a team we're going to surprise and blow out.
Yeah, and it's a team that this is their. I mean, they always have a window because they spend money, but this is like Aaron Judge in his prime. This is Garrett Cole in his prime. Like this is I think the best they're going to be in the next few years. And so this is. I mean, the Yankees are good. The Yankees are going to win the division. They're a great team.
Yeah, no one's going to question that. We all just accept that. So, yeah.
But I mean, I think what shocked the baseball world is that we took it to Boston. Yeah, we took it to Boston, the Orioles.
Because remember, everyone says Boston's supposed to be good. All the projections had them at like 58, at like 86 games or something.
Yeah, run a 500 team. Yeah,
right. Well, they're supposed to be on the upswing of their rebuild.
Right.
But no, and I mean, for where the Orioles. The problem is everyone is still projecting the Orioles to be working on the downswing of the rebuild. And I think that's just the outside media. I think locally we see that it can't get worse than last year or the year before. So it's kind of been on the upswing.
Yeah, and a lot of the pieces are here already, right? Like Ryan Mountcastle was a piece. He's here. Austin Hayes, we hope to be a piece. He's here. Cedric Mullins might be a piece. He's here. Santander might be a piece. Like there's so many already good pieces that are already here. It's not like we're waiting for a completely new roster to compete again. No, like we have about, I don't know, we could debate like a third of our team that's going to be here in the World Series in 2023 is already on our roster.
And remember, we did have a better record than the Red Sox last season.
Yep.
As well. We weren't a last place team. When the draft comes, the Red Sox have a higher draft pick this year than us.
Yep, which kind of sucks because, by the way, and we can get into this more when the draft gets a little bit closer.
You're not getting the pitchers from Vanderbilt, no matter what you do.
Well, everything I've read is that there's 4 great players, and then like as long as you get one of those 4, you're good.
I see everyone keeps posting the 2 pitchers from Vanderbilt, and we're not getting either of them.
Yeah, light or rocker, yeah. But there's 2 other really good players And then it drops off at number 5.
But we're not in the top 4, are we?
No, we're top 5. We're the 5th pick, which that's what I'm saying. Like the timing's a little bit unfortunate there.
Right, because that's the problem is you look at any of these power rankings, because the Orioles didn't break the bank and spend money this offseason, every power ranking going into this season had the Orioles as the worst team in baseball. And when you actually look at like stats and where players are and where farm systems are, we're not the worst team in baseball.
No, hey, listen, we've been getting a lot of love recently for our farm system, which is great. Yeah,
5th farm system in baseball
according to MLB Pipeline. Yeah, but some of the other takeaways for me were from the first 3 games was, I mean, we talked about starting pitching. Outside of that, I think the biggest thing for me was, man, the play of Cedric Mullins, right?
Well, yeah, he's got, especially Sunday where he had 5 hits and a walk.
But he had 5 hits in like the 4th inning.
Yeah. By the 4th inning, he had 4 hits.
Yeah.
So
it was wild.
Cedric Mullins is so funny because Cedric Mullins is a guy that I thought his career was over a few years ago. Thought this was done. Thought, oh, you named him the Adam Jones replacement way too early without seeing if he could play.
Yeah.
And suddenly he's playing great. And and this decided not to be a switch hitter. We questioned if that would take away some of his versatility, but I think he's now hitting better. Definitely better.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you just look at his numbers, when he came up in 2018, the heir apparent to Adam Jones, he was batting 230. He batted 235, and we all said at that point, like, it's not fair. Like, he was never a top prospect. Like, it's not fair to even. Like we said it at the time, like this guy's not Adam Jones.
Well, because they handled it all weird with like sending him out on the field first and stuff, like making it like he leads the guys out, like he's Adam Jones' replacement. They handled it like they gave him the starting center field job as like it was going to be his for the next 10 years.
Yeah, and then he was for 2018. Then 2019, he batted .094. He didn't even bat 100, .094 in 2019. Those are Chris Davis type numbers. And then in 2020, last year, right, he got off to a really bad start, went down to the alternate training site, came back, hit 271, which is great, right, from not even hitting 100 to go 271. And his batting average this year is 625. So I don't know if he can keep batting 625.
I have a feeling that number will go down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, already with 3 doubles in the season. So yeah, I can't say enough great things about Cedric Mullins. And for me, like I was skeptical about putting him at the leadoff spot. But if he hits, like if he can hit 280 and bat leadoff for you, like that's a game changer because then you can move everybody down. And he's a speedster, right? He brings a lot of speed as well. Like to me, Cedric Mullins being a capable leadoff hitter, because I thought that was Austin Hayes' role. But Austin Hayes hits for a little more power, so if you can move him down the lineup a little bit, I just think it makes our offense so much more potent when you had that kind of a pleasant surprise in Cedric Mullins at the leadoff spot.
Right. But also, like, it's been this whole lineup. They've scored a ton of runs this weekend without a single home run. It's all been base hits, doubles, getting around the bags.
Yeah.
Now they're getting shut out on Monday night, but this is what the Orioles do. They put up a buttload of points yesterday, so they'll have no runs today.
Yeah, well, and if you want to score runs, maybe you should not run out the lineup we saw today.
Yes. Yeah, the weekend lineup was better than the Monday night lineup. But we also know the Orioles play this game where they score enough points that would win them games for the whole week, but they score them all on one day.
Yeah. So now we're going to lose by how many, and then the run differential is going to come back, and people are going to say, "Oh, we're not that good because look at the run differential."
Right. How quickly does Fangraphs take away that 0.1 that they gave us as a playoff chance?
Yeah, that's going to be fun. A little fun thing to watch to see how long we can stay competitive here. Because then we go back and play the Red Sox some more. So maybe we can beat up on the Red Sox some more again.
Yeah, and that's at home. That's 3 more wins.
Opening day, we'll be there for one of them.
Right.
The other thing, Austin Hayes, Josh, how concerned are you with Austin Hayes tweaking his what they say hamstring discomfort is what they said like 20 times on the broadcast, hamstring discomfort.
And that didn't concern me at all because he pulled himself out. It was a blowout game. But the fact that he went on the 10-day IL today concerns me.
Okay.
Because it means either he hurt himself worse than discomfort, or Austin Hayes is a baby and can't fight through anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about Austin Hayes is he's been hurt a bunch, but all of it's been like random stuff, right? Like
he was on the base paths during this.
Is that what happens on the base paths?
Yeah, he was on the base paths.
Yeah, and like was it last year or 2 years ago that he got like beamed and got hit in the ribs and something like that, like had like cracked ribs or something. So it's always like it's never like, oh, he's got a recurring arm issue or something. It's always these random little things, which are unfortunate. But you start to wonder, and I think Josh, this has more to do with less to do with his injury, more to do with like roster manipulation type stuff.
McKenna?
Because you don't have a big bench, because you have 14 pitchers. So it's not like you have a bunch of guys on the bench. Santander tweaked his oblique right at the beginning or at the end of spring training. So I don't think you want to play him every day.
Right. But you could have put Santander at DH. You could have put Valleca in the outfield. You didn't have to put Mountcastle. You got Mancini you can put out there.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that McKenna was put right into the starting lineup after being caught up shows me that they really that they were really desperate to fill that spot, and they didn't want to use Mancini there or someone else there.
Right, and I agree with you, except if it was only like a minor thing where they thought Hayes was going to miss 2 games, they could have been fine without that.
Yeah, but the thing about it, and this is a hamstring thing, is you never know, right? Like,
true.
I pulled my hamstring in high school. I pulled my hamstring in high school, and it was just like it didn't hurt that bad, and I thought it'd be out like a day, and like the entire season, it bothered me, and I was never myself the entire season with it. So I think those things can just kind of linger, and if you're Austin Hayes with an injury history, and it's 1 week into the season, if I'm Hyde, I'm like no, don't play until it's 100%. Don't play until you feel nothing, no pain whatsoever.
Now, remember, there's also talk that DJ Stewart will be available.
Another hamstring, by the way. Like, the hamstring, like, how long is DJ Stewart supposed to be out? How long was he supposed to be out? I feel like he's supposed to be ready for opening day. But these hamstrings are tricky.
By the home opener, I believe.
Well, okay. But when was that said compared to when his first injury? Like, is that what they said when the injury first happened? I don't feel like that's what they said when the injury first happened. But it said his is another, I'm pretty sure it's another tweaked hamstring. And so where it's these hamstrings are just like the oblique, like these are tricky muscles that can just stay a little bit injured and just bother you and nag you and get like progressively worse if you don't, take extra precaution at the beginning. So I think you had Ryan McKenna sitting there, so why not use him?
I guess it's a chance for Ryan to show off. It says DJ will be back sometime this week, so you imagine that's also how you're making some room for DJ Stewart in this roster.
Yeah, this is going to be weird, right? So then McKenna, you would imagine, could send
McKenna down.
Then Stewart comes up. But then in a handful of days later, I assume Hayes is just going to take the 10 days and come right back. That's what I'm assuming.
Right.
And then what do you do to make room for Hayes? It's going to be another
I don't know.
Question.
Sean Armstrong, some of these pitchers, hoping some of the pitching works out.
Well, yeah. I mean, if starting pitching continues to pitch like this, maybe you can go back to 13 because you don't need – maybe one of these Rule 5 guys. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, true. The other surprise in these first 3 games was Rio Ruiz playing second base.
Yes.
Kind of never played second base before and played a really good second base.
A great defensive second base. Yeah. In the opening game, he made 2, if not 3, spectacular plays.
Plays where he ran so deep into right and left field that the outfielders should have caught these balls, not him, and he had better positioning. So
he's shown his range there, and then he also made a diving catch as well.
Yeah.
Through the guy at first. So just defensively, he was spectacular. And for a guy that manager Hyde said in spring training, don't read too much into this. Just for emergency use only, we're trying Ruiz at second. Well, it turns out Ruiz can actually play second.
Well, yeah, but they tried him for 1 game. I mean, but also when we talked preseason about the lineup and all, the one thing we kept saying is we don't have a second baseman on this team.
Well, we do now.
And
It's
now
Ruiz.
we do.
Yeah.
And that's part of the whole story of this lineup that we saw this weekend. Not Monday night. Monday night they took off. But
Yeah, I mean, and if you're Ryan Banning or Rylan Banning, or if you're Jahmai Jones, you're probably pretty ticked off that Ruiz is really good at second because you're kind of knocking on the door there. And we saw he got the night off tonight. I think that was related to like a lefty thing where the lefty was starting and Ruiz is a lefty, so they got Urias some playing time there. But yeah, I think Ruiz will be your everyday lefty. I guess against right-handed pitching, your everyday second baseman until we find someone else or he shows he's not good enough offensively to be there. But so far, like defensively, he's looked like a better second baseman than even third baseman. So that's really good to see.
Yeah. I think tonight the Orioles just looked and said, "Oh, we got to go up against Montgomery. He's really good. Let's rest some guys."
Okay, good. So you can rest them because then tomorrow we play Garrett Cole, I think. So that's good. Good.
Oh,
so now you can play your good guys for their weak Garrett Cole. Yeah.
I mean, it's the Yankees. It's not like I can pick any just bad pitcher. So you got to pick and choose.
Yeah, I mean, we skimmed over it a little bit, but the other thing I want to mention is Ryan McKenna got his MLB debut tonight against the Yankees, playing in Yankee Stadium. So a very cool moment for Ryan McKenna. A special spot in my heart for Ryan McKenna, as Silas is my son. His first autographed baseball by a player was Ryan McKenna, as we saw him at. Remember, the Orioles did that thing, the bandwagon. What's it called?
Winterfest?
No, but this wasn't Winterfest. This was one of their
the caravans. The Orioles Caravan.
Yeah, a couple years ago they did that. Not this year because of COVID, obviously. But I hope they bring the caravans back because we saw Ryan McKenna in Annapolis, and that was pretty fun.
Indianapolis?
In the Annapolis.
They're bringing all those commercials back now for March Madness.
Yeah, those are good commercials.
So they're all in my head again.
Yeah.
So it's the only time in Annapolis. I think it's the only time I've seen Annapolis mentioned in something when they're not talking about the Naval Academy.
Yeah.
It's Indianapolis.
So it's great to see him get his debut. I don't think he's going to be here long because I think you're right. When DJ Stewart comes back, or Austin Hayes, like he's just a temporary fill-in, but a good opportunity for him to show his stuff. And he's one of those guys that I don't think people know. Like they don't know. Is he a fourth starter? Is he a fifth starter? Is he a 4A guy? Or is he an everyday, center fielder? Certainly people say he's good enough defensively. It's just, I mean, what I want to see, Josh, I want to see an outfield of McKenna, Hayes, and Mullins. Can we give me that outfield of three kind of elite outfielders? I think that'd be fun to watch.
I mean, that'd be fun, but then what do you do with Santander? You think McKenna's better than Santander?
Well, Santander already is on. I mean, Rock came out with an article today or yesterday.
Oh yeah, about
the trade rumors. Like he is on Hug Watch all year long, all season long.
Well, come on, it's before the season started when he had those awkward where he missed like the last 4 or 5 games of spring training. We all assumed it was for trade talk.
Yeah, and so I mean that's going to be an interesting story to watch. And I think one of the reasons he's on Hug Watch, not that he's even like close to free agency, he still has a few years left, but. We just have
so good.
We got good outfielders. So it's like and he's the oldest of these bunch of young good outfielders that we have, and so he seems a little bit expendable. And and for guys like Diaz and McKenna to really get in a shot playing every day, something has to go. Like something has to give. And Santander seemed like he might be that guy, but who knows? It's a long season and anything can happen.
Yeah. It was nice to see fans back in the stadium and hear fans. Some of the Red Sox fans were annoyingly loud, but it's still nice to see fans in the games. Yeah,
I agree. Fans, it feels more like baseball this year with the fans. I agree. Though it's still weird to me that Scott Garceau and Jim Palmer are still calling games from Baltimore. I don't understand exactly why that's happening.
But fans can be in the stadiums, but announcers can't. Yeah,
and for me, and by the way, I'm quite certain both those guys are vaccinated. I mean, they're both eligible to be vaccinated.
And that's what I was going to say. They're still
they can
a plastic
be
divider.
So even with CDC, they can be in the same room, but whatever, without a plastic divisor. But you can tell, like, it takes away from the broadcast significantly. Like, I was curious to see, like, how noticeable is it but like it's significantly noticeable that they don't like. Scott Garceau miscalled so many home run balls like that were fly out to left field that I don't think he would have made the same mistake if he was in person. And like I was mistaken too because whatever, like I didn't see it. There was a time where like a guy from third scored and he didn't know if he stayed in third or if he scored because he couldn't see because we couldn't see because he's just looking at the TV screen. So that to me that takes away from the broadcast not having the announcers there. But it is great to see the fans. I'm with you. It's great to see the fans in the stands.
Yeah, and it totally takes away from the broadcast, and it's annoying. In fact, I wanted to show you this picture. I'm not sure if you saw this at the end of the broadcast. This was on Saturday night, and the Orioles won. And you know how they're doing their post-game wrap-up?
Sure.
They had their big winter coats on.
Oh, yeah, I did see this.
Ready to go. It cracked me up. I'm like, how fast do they want to get out of Camden Yards?
Yeah. Are there no heated rooms in Camden Yards that they can do the show from?
No, I get it.
The game from?
They shouldn't be there, but they didn't have their coats on during the game. They just put them on there at the end for the wrap-up. But it's just, I don't understand that whole thing because, I'm sure they're both vaccinated. I don't know.
Hold on. You think they put their coats on just for the last shot? So it would look like they were sitting out in the cold watching the Boston game?
Yes. Did you
just for the optics of it?
Jim Palmer's wearing gloves. He was not earlier in the game. He was not comfortable. Like that's not what you wear to broadcast a game. You don't.
I don't understand why you would. Okay, then fine. Like I don't care.
He's wearing the old man suit jacket thing, trench coat.
That's fine, but why? But why put on the stuff for the post game show?
Because I think they were leaving. I think they were heading out the door. Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
But it's weird that they're, I would assume they're both vaccinated and you could have them travel wherever. I don't know. I mean, it's easy to get the vaccination in Maryland right now, right?
I mean, if you're, definitely if you're of their age group, then yeah, it is. It's, I mean, we're still restricted by ages at this point. Yeah, you can sign up, but I don't think you can actually get the vaccine yet, but you can sign up, I think.
So I signed up today. And they called me and said I can come on Wednesday and get vaccinated.
Oh, nice.
But
that's great.
I declined it.
Okay.
Because I don't want to do it before traveling.
Okay. I did have some side effects with my second one.
Did you get your second one?
I got my second one.
And had side effects?
I did. They hit me like I went to work the next day, and then it hit me about 36 hours. I got the shakes, and I literally could not stop. I was driving the car. I was driving, and I literally had to pull over and I had to drive because I couldn't stop shaking. Just one of those things, like cold, like chills, cold, and like sore body or whatever. But then after that night, I slept, and the next day I was fine.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's it. And I'm not scared of the vaccine. I just don't want to get it when I'm coming home for opening day.
Yeah.
So I figure I'll get it next week when I come back.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
But again, I'm sure they've already gotten it by then. They're much older than us. But here's what I was going to say about the broadcast. MLB Network on Sunday night had a special, Voices of the Game, and they do this occasionally. And on Sunday, their Voice of the Game special was on John Miller.
Love John Miller.
And you know how
fell asleep to John Miller so many nights. Oh, yeah.
Exactly, of John Miller calling Oriole games.
Yeah, he talked to me to sleep so many nights of my childhood.
And it's like, we had John Miller. No one will ever compare to that.
Well, I thought Joe Angel was great. I mean, Joe Angel wasn't John Miller, but I thought Joe Angel was great. I thought he was great.
He was fine. No issues with him either. But Scott Garceau, we're going to forget about as an announcer years from now.
Oh, I don't think so. I think he's been immortalized in tweets, and he's the butt of jokes, and I don't think he's going to be forgotten. Not in a good way, but I think people will remember him for some of the wrong reasons.
All right, what do you think? This is going to be like Rush Limbaugh doing Monday Night Football or something, like a guy who doesn't belong there, who everyone loved in a different facility.
Well, there's a guy, but there's other guys besides Rush Limbaugh. Like,
Don Miller.
Don Miller, Tony Kornheiser, or
I forgot Tony Kornheiser did Monday Night Football.
who is my favorite guy in the world, but like was not good in that format.
No,
and you said Don Miller is Dennis Miller, but all those guys.
Oh yeah.
Or like they tried. Yeah, they tried to stay with
a great example.
Comedians and other things. That's
a great example because we love Scott on the radio.
Love Scott. Great on the radio.
not on the broadcast.
But it doesn't bother me. I know people hate on him. Scott Garceau honestly does not bother me at all. I mean, freaking when the Orioles are winning, I could have Derek Jeter up there calling games. I wouldn't care. I could have Alexander Rodriguez up there calling games. I wouldn't care. As the Orioles are winning, it doesn't really bother me that much. I know it bothers a lot of people.
Yeah,
I do think Jim Palmer is great too, and so I think that cancels it out because I think Jim Palmer is still amazing.
I love the cockiness of Jim Palmer.
Oh yeah,
I love it. It's the best. The fact that no matter what situation is going on in the ball field, one, he totally knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And the mindset of everyone on there.
Yep. And
he did it better. Yep. And that little added star about he did it better is always fun.
Yep. He's old. He's curmudgeonly. He's arrogant. But he also is not dismissive of the analytics. Like he's able to talk about that stuff. Yeah. He will say he was doing it back then too. We just didn't have a name for it. But he acknowledges the changes that are happening in the games and is able to talk about those things in an intelligent way.
Yeah. It's like one of the pitchers kept checking his notebooks for what to throw. And Jim Palmer had made a comment I had that too. It was in my head.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect example. Yeah.
And Jim Palmer's the perfect guy for that because he can stand behind it. Because he can just say, hey, go on up to check the hall.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim Palmer, I think, is someone everyone will always remember. We will remember even more so. We won't really remember his pitching because we weren't alive, but we will remember him as being an awesome color commentator. He is just, and it's a little unfortunate when other people are the color commentator because it's so obvious that they're a step below how great Jim Palmer is at his job.
But and that's the thing is Jim Palmer is not your play-by-play guy, but he's an excellent color commentator.
Oh, yeah, he's the best. And Scott Garceau, I'm curious to see, did Scott Garceau doing all the games? Are you going to switch this up at some point?
I think he's doing all the games.
What are your thoughts for doing I know this is not – I don't even care. We're 3-0. I don't even care that we're 3-1 when people are listening to this. Right now, we're 3-0.
Right. We are definitely
sole possession of first place at least. What do you think of Melanie Newman? Her kind of cut-ins and –
It's bad. I can take it or leave it. I don't care.
All right.
I mean, it's there. But that's kind of how I feel about any sideline reporter in any sport. I don't think sideline reporters add anything.
Oh, I think they do a little bit. I think you have so much just downtime in baseball. I think it's kind of cool to break away and hear about John Means' son or something, or just a random kind of backstory.
Or that Rio Ruiz was a quarterback in.
Or he was a quarterback. Yeah,
they love to share that.
Yeah. I think those little things are fun and makes I think those little vignettes humanize the players more. So I kind of like it. And the fact that it's Melanie Newman, I think Melanie Newman's fine. I think she's doing a fine job with it.
I got no issues with Melanie Newman.
Yeah. So I think she's good in that role. I think that's.
I saw she's on Cameo. You can get. I can get her your birthday. I'll get her send you a message for your birthday.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, the other thing I want to mention, just have some notes here I wrote down. I tell you what, I'm not keeping track of this. I'm not a guy who does the book, right? Who does the book to see, with the scorebook. But
that's what
the book, the book scorebook. But if someone out there does it, can you just look up the at bats for Michael Franco? Because I feel that Franco hits a ground ball to third base about 80% of the time. And he's just a little weak grounder to third base 80% of the time. I'm already annoyed with him, to be honest, and I was so pumped for him when he got here. He reminds me of Matt Wieters, who used to always ground out to second base like every other bat. I feel Franco is doing that a bunch. It's kind of annoying me. The other thing I want to mention is there's you mentioned it before, Josh. The lack of dongs. I don't think the Yankees had any dongs either. Maybe they had one.
Well, Aaron Judge hit one on Monday night.
What, tonight? Yeah. But I think their opening series, they didn't hit any dongs. I think that's right. Josh, is this could this be a baseball thing?
So they did change the ball.
Yeah, the baseball is supposed to be a little bit softer.
Yeah, it's softer, which is they were projecting
about the laces.
Right, they were projecting about 5 to 10 feet. It would shorten the balls on. I found it really weird that they didn't let any pitchers play with these balls in spring training.
Oh, is that true?
That during spring training, they still use, because they're being conservative and using used balls from last year at spring training, they never rolled in these new balls. So I found that really weird. I don't know if it's keeping the ball in or if it's the cold weather.
Yeah, it is like
Those games in
45 degrees
Boston,
or whatever. Yeah.
That was the coldest opening day the Orioles have ever played. I'm guessing it's more cold weather because we're seeing Ohtani hit 450 feet with one of these new balls.
Yeah.
But it's another interesting thing this year to see how the ball really affects the game.
Yeah, it's true. The cold weather probably had a lot to do with it as well. And certainly tonight, the ball's not helping us. We need an even softer ball for us tonight.
All right. I guess we gave up 2 home runs because we gave up a grand slam to the Yankees as well.
Yeah.
So no luck for the softballs. That was not our reasoning for doing well.
Yeah.
But when you get up 3 games, you can have games like you have Monday night.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And like I said before, with the Yankees, like my whole thing is don't get swept. Like some people say just win series. I'm like that with every team except for the Yankees. With the Yankees, just don't get swept. And so we play 3 against the Yankees. Then Thursday we have the home opener that you and I will be there, Josh, for it.
Yeah.
Against the Red Sox, 3 o'clock.
Saturday also.
And then there's no game Friday. And then, we'll be there Saturday for game 2 at Camden Yards as well, a night game.
I was actually okay with the Red Sox canceling opening day and pushing it a day because then it was kind of nice to have baseball back to back to back like normal instead of a game and then you have this off day of nothing.
Yeah.
So I was all right with that.
Yeah, and I saw Andrew Stecca tweeted about this. I thought he was spot on, too, with opening day. Like, why aren't the games staggered more often? It should be like March Madness, where there's a game starting like every half hour or something.
That's a good idea.
From 1 o'clock all the way to like 10 o'clock.
Right.
Because what happened on opening day is there was no game on at 7 o'clock because it was supposed to be
COVID Nats game.
The Nats game, and because of COVID got canceled, and so there was no game at 7 o'clock. So that was kind of a mistake on baseball's part. Though I am talking about just game times here. The 6:35, huge fan of the 6:35 first pitch.
Oh yeah,
huge fan.
Right,
means I can get to bed, in a decent hour. So I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah. Save the 30 minutes. I'm all for that.
Yeah, but I think this is the only week we get it, and then after this series against the Yankees, it goes to 7.
Well, it's a New York thing. Yeah. So, any other takeaways from this weekend?
No, I just hope we survive the Yankees, and then I'm excited to beat up on Boston again. And then, Josh, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
But Josh, after Boston, we have the Mariners. Not a good team. We have them at home for 4 games.
Right.
Then we have Texas. Not a good team.
Then we got Miami.
Then we have Miami. Not a great team.
Yeah. I see it. Then you got Oakland.
I'm just saying, don't be shocked when it's the 25th of April and we're sitting, a game over 500. Don't come at me. Don't be shocked when we're a couple games over 500 on April 25th. And our percentage at Fangraphs is up to a full 1%. Don't be shocked.
Do you think I don't think Fangraphs will let the Orioles get to 1%. I think they'll always keep it below 1%.
What if it's like the last month of the season and we're in first place in the division? We'd still just be they would just assume we would tank and lose every other game for the rest of the season?
I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I don't know how that math formula works, how much they place in a single game or whatever, but yeah, be something. Right. I mean, you better believe it though. Oriole fans are checking Fangraphs after every win for their updated odds.
Well, yeah, and what was it? What did I send you the picture of? Was it ESPN that had their power rankings out Sunday night for Sunday night baseball, and they had the Orioles as like 5th?
Well, I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of like not what Fangraphs does with the percentage. I'm a fan of ignoring all the other stuff. Ignore the projections. Right. Ignore the offseason. Just based on 3 games. Who's been the best team?
And that's how power rankings should be.
That should be. It's not like, we know the Orioles, are rebuilding, so we can't put them in the top 10.
Right.
Get out of here. We won all 3 games.
And I think power rankings should always be that way. I think power rankings should always be based on a week. And like they rotate after a week. And it's what you did on that week. Because power rankings are supposed to show you who's the hot team.
Yeah.
And all. So, I saw The Athletic updated their power rankings today, and they have the Orioles at 29th.
Right.
So they don't really care.
You're taking into account not the season. You're taking into account the reputations and whatever.
Like, sorry, you swept the Red Sox, but the Red Sox are still way up in your power rankings. That's not how power rankings work.
Yeah, because they
think need to be based on reality.
Yeah, because they think, well, and they're right that the Red Sox are probably, well, I don't agree actually, but the Orioles are not a top 5 team in baseball. I don't think so.
But they're the hottest team in baseball.
But if you're one of the only 5 teams to win all your games, then as of right now, you're one of the best teams in baseball
with a 13-run differential.
Yeah, and why not? Like Athletic, give it to us. We know we're not going to be there in 3 weeks, so why not for the first series give us a high power ranking?
Right,
Come on now. Come on now.
Yeah, that's all right. So.
Right. Do we want to do ball 4 this week or?
I've got a little ball 4. Yeah.
All right, let's do some ball 4 real quick.
All right, I got a new TV show on the Peacock network.
Okay.
And I may have talked about this before on here because you and I had this show in common. I don't know if you've ever watched this show, but you read the book.
Oh.
And season 3 just came out, which I was pleased to see was based on another book in the series. So it's now available on the Peacock network, which is the NBC network.
Yeah.
The first 2 seasons you can watch for free, and then you can sign up for a week trial to watch the 3rd season.
Okay.
If you choose. And it is Mr. Mercedes.
Oh,
based on the Stephen King books, Finding Keepers series.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying.
I've never seen it. I'll have to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, check it out because its first 2 seasons are free on Mr. Mercedes, which has to do with the Mercedes killer.
Yeah.
The first 2 seasons, and season 3. I think Finders Keepers is season 3. I think that's the book that's season 3. I don't know. They all blend together for me.
Yeah, me too.
But season 3 right now just came out, and I like that show a lot. So Mr. Mercedes is your ball 1.
All right, cool. I'll stick with books and Stephen King because I just read Stephen King's newest book. It came out this month, and oh man, the name of the book is Later. I was going to blank on the name. Later, it just came out. I think the beginning of March. Actually, it came out at the beginning of March. But it's about a kid who sees dead people. I know, very Sixth Sense-y vibes, but classic Stephen King, much darker than Sixth Sense. But about a kid who sees dead people. And it was classic Stephen King. It was really good. It was actually Stephen King at his best because the thing that drives me crazy about Stephen King is he adds these subplots that are so unnecessary that drives me nuts. Mostly love story subplots, which I don't care anything about. But this one, there's no subplots. It's a shorter book. Right to the point, and so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on my Goodreads account. So yeah,
I forgot about your Goodreads account. I'll follow you on Goodreads.
Are you on Goodreads?
I probably am. Isn't it tied to your Amazon account or something?
I don't know. It's tied, I think, to my Facebook somehow.
All right, I'll take a look at Goodreads. Some podcasts put out there they follow us on Untapped or something for beer.
Yeah,
we're the podcast that tells you to follow us on Goodreads.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I am on Untapped too, by the way. Though when I got a new phone, I never downloaded the app, so I haven't been on the app in a long time.
Usernames. Their usernames are confusion.
Yeah, my username is 547S2.
Exactly. Right.
But yeah, Later by Stephen King.
All right, I'll check
recommend
that out. I like your book suggestions because I normally then go read the book as well. And we both like Stephen King. All right, my ball 3 is I shared last week that the PlayStation 5 showed up right before the podcast.
Yes, great news.
So I hooked it up, downloaded some games. It's awesome. I'm very impressed, which I think is funny to say because, of course, it's good. I mean, that's the reason everyone gets it. But I always thought, the most impressive thing would be, it's going to load games faster and the graphics are better. And that's all true. But the controller is so much better than the PlayStation controller.
Really? Why?
The trigger buttons, they did something with the trigger buttons where the sensitivity of the trigger button changes. So, when I'm playing Call of Duty, depending on what gun I pick up, I have to press the trigger button harder.
Oh, that's cool.
It's weird, and it feels weird. And playing Spider-Man, doing different things, it's almost like you do a half press and it stops you, and then if you want it to do more, you press it all the way. It's really weird, and it's really cool. The controllers just feel so much better when you're playing your game.
That's
so
cool.
it's an obvious ball 3, but I'm going with the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it would have been if you had any other response to it, it would have been a big disappointment. So I'm glad it's freaking took long enough to come out with a PlayStation 5, right?
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Yeah, I assume so. Yeah. All right, you got a ball 4?
Oh yeah, I'll throw another book out there. The book's called Remote Control. It's by a Nigerian author, so I'm going to try to say her name, Nnedi Okorafor. She's famous. She got popular for writing a Binti sci-fi trilogy. She read sci-fi, and she just came out with a book called Remote Control. I think it came out at the beginning of this year, and it's notable for 2 reasons. This book called Remote Control, and again, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars in my Goodreads account. It's another short book, but the opening quote, the opening epigraph, the epigraph to start the book is this. You come at the king, you best not miss. Quote by Omar Little from The Wire. So that's the quote that starts the book. So already I'm hooked when you're quoting Omar from The Wire to start a book.
You know, I haven't watched The Wire.
Really?
I've seen 1 episode.
Really? I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I haven't spent any time with it. I probably need to. Maybe that'll be my around baseball viewing soon once I finish Mr. Mercedes.
I mean, I watched it maybe 5 years ago, so I was way late to the party. But
and I heard they remastered it all.
Did
HD and everything. So I think I'll check that out. But you know what? I forgot that I should have made this one of my balls. So I got to throw in an extra thing. I got to thank Glenn Clark and Jeremy Kahn because I got a gift in the mail this week from them.
Okay.
I got a new bobblehead.
Oh, you got Mo.
Yeah, so I got the Mo bobblehead.
That's so cool.
Which is really cool. Let me just find the camera. Really cool bobblehead, and it talks. So got to thank Jeremy for putting this together and Glenn Clark getting it sent out to me.
And Josh is showing it and playing on the podcast as evidence that he wasn't one of those jerkwads who was putting on eBay after Jeremy Kahn was selling it to raise money for a hospital. Yeah, Jeremy was ticked because he went out there like selling them individually for $50 a pop, all for donations, right, to this to hospitals. And people just flipped it on eBay.
Jeremy should have put a couple himself on eBay. Then he wouldn't have to go sit at like Bill Bateman's or wherever he was selling them.
Well, I think it's cool. He's done different spots. Like each weekend, he's gone to a different spot and just
it's really cool.
Brought a case. It's really cool.
Everything Jeremy does is really good.
He's the coolest.
He's the nicest guy.
Yeah.
And the bobblehead he made is awesome. Yeah. For I don't know where you go and get a custom made bobblehead because it's clearly custom. It's not a bobblehead made by guys that do like the Oriole bobbleheads, the cheap ones, but it's solid. And I mean, it looks like it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good ball 4. That's good. That's good.
Ball 5.
It's good ball 5.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Josh, hopefully when we talk on Monday again.
Hey, tomorrow you're hosting Birdland Tonight.
I am.
Tuesday night you're hosting it. You and Ryan Blake.
I'm hopping on the 6:30 start time. Absolutely.
right. You're hoping
so I can do
you're hoping you get on at
I'm doing the post game. I'm at 9:15. I'm doing the post game. Orioles done or not, 9:15. Let's go.
All right. So make sure everyone's checking out Birdland Tonight.
After every O's home game, Birdland Tonight.
Thank you for everyone who's gone over and given us some iTunes reviews, both for Section 336 and for Birdland Tonight.
Yeah.
And also Patreons. Going over to section336.com and tap on the support button at the top to help us out. That's really appreciated. It pays us bills to do this and host this. And I get to mail Matt a check once in a while. Did we share the iTunes review about lovely banter between brothers?
Yeah, I thought we shared that last week.
All right. Well, we've shared that from Senior Pinky.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, who I keep wanting to call Senior Pickle. And then we had another review about a guy who's been searching for years for an Orioles podcast. And this is it. Listened to plenty of interesting podcasts that seem to disappear after 1 or 2 episodes. These guys are committed. We did talk about this one.
Yeah, because it was our whole episode last week.
We did not talk about Senior Pinky, who hopped on board afterwards, saying this is his favorite Orioles podcast.
Nice.
He loves the banter between the two brothers. And again, he's been searching for a good Orioles podcast for a while with this one. So give it a listen. So thank you for those guys that did that.
Yeah, appreciate it. Keep those reviews coming. We appreciate it. Yeah, we'll be with you on this. I'm not here to declare the rebuild is over, but I tell you what, 3-0 is a pretty nice start to the season.
Yeah, and definitely let us know if you're in Camden Yards on Thursday. We'll be one of the 11,000.
Yeah. Do we know our seats yet? Have we gotten tickets? I don't have any tickets on my phone. Did you get tickets?
I got.
Does someone
the
have tickets?
I've
Who
got
has
the
tickets? You have the tickets?
Do you want to know where we're sitting?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can look this up. I always forget how to do it. Orioles tickets.
We're not in section 336, tell you that.
I will say I was gifted a pair
Who's
of
got that
tickets.
pod? Yeah.
I was gifted a pair of tickets in the lower bowl, and I had to turn them away today because I wanted to make sure we had enough tickets for the Zany Burt Roadie to join us as well. Sorry, it's making me log in.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll
Okay.
find out when I show up at the stadium.
No, I'll tell you.
The usher will tell me where I'm sitting.
Well, you're going to be with me.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, now it's saying I don't know my password. That's because that's the wrong password. Can I tell you I'm tired of passwords and logging in? Right before we did this podcast, MLB decided to log me out of every app that I tried to stream the game on.
Yeah.
So I'm a little annoyed.
And there's that skit that Bert showed me that was funny a while back of like people update their passwords and then they make it more complicated by like add a number, and so everyone just adds 1 to the end of the password they always use.
Right.
And then they need special characters, everyone just adds exclamation mark to the password they already use. So it doesn't even really make your password more complicated.
I'll tell you, you know what I use? You want to know my passwords?
Orioles World Series 2023?
No.
Okay.
But I know that's your password.
I'm just putting my business out there.
And that may be my password for some stuff as well. But my new password, because they always want capital letters, lowercase letters, I now go with baseball players and their numbers.
Oh, that's smart.
So, and then it's nice and long and a player number.
Yeah.
All right, so on Thursday, now that you can hack into our bank accounts and steal all our money, you can come and tell us on Thursday, as we'll be sitting in section 328, row 4.
All right.
So.
All right, cool. Well, guys, in the meantime, you can check us out on Twitter. Our show Twitter is @section336show. My own personal Twitter is @section336. Josh's Twitter is
@Josh Soroka.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls. And as always, go O's.